Hi, my name is Vivian Oliver-Hernandez, and in this tip of the week, I'm going to focus on my top 5 pro tips when it comes to using Gmail. So, in this video, I will focus on these 5. There's a lot of things you can do in Gmail, but these are my most favorite organizational ones and things when it comes to like sending them out. So, number 1, you can schedule emails to go out at a certain time. This is my favorite thing to do because I don't like sending emails at a time that I'm not supposed to be working, just because I like to respect the boundary. So if you're like me and you want to make sure that you send an email at 8 a.m. or 8:15 in the morning, but you can't be there at 8 a.m. or 8:15 to hit that send button, just schedule it. This also applies for students. Students, don't be sending emails in the middle of the night. Schedule the email to be sent to your teacher at 8 a.m. or 8:15 because most likely they're not going to be up in the middle of the night to check your stuff. So another thing is when I get emails, I like to label them and then file them away so I can find later on a little bit more quickly and efficiently. I also like to snooze emails. So this is for an email that might come in and that I read, but then I'm like, ooh, I don't have time to respond to that. You can always make it unread, right? But you can also snooze it. And when you snooze it, it adds back to your inbox and says, hey, don't forget about this. So I like to snooze emails when I know I'm going to snooze it for now, but I'll come back to it later. It's like a little nap. And then number 4 is creating a task to-do list out of my emails. So if there's something I'm like, ooh, I need to do that, it does integrate with Google Tasks. So you can easily put that in your to-do list, make a list, and have it checked off for you to go back to. And then number 5, searching emails. When you're searching for an email, you probably know about the top magnifying glass area where you can go ahead and type in keywords. You can always do an advanced search too, and that's my favorite thing to do to very narrow down what I'm looking for. It helps save time when I'm looking. You can do that in Google Drive, but most importantly, you can do that in Gmails as well. So I'm going to show you how to do all 5 of these next. Let's go ahead and start. So the first thing I want to show you is how to schedule an email. Like always, you'll go ahead and you'll write out your email. You'll go ahead and send it off. But after you type what you need to type inside of the email, down here next to send, you'll see this drop down. Click the drop down, click schedule send, and then this is how you can pick a date and time of when you would like your email to send. So I can schedule it for an exact time or anything. Once I'm done, I hit schedule send. And then here on the left, I see a label called scheduled, and that's how I know that email is scheduled to go out. Next thing you could do, here on the left, you see where it says labels. If you want to go ahead and create a new label, you can hit the plus sign and start creating labels. I'm going to create one called Google. I already have one named Test. I can even name one Oneshie, maybe drop it down. What's nice about labels is you can even make a label within a label. So let's say I have a label for Oneshie, but I want to go ahead and break it down to classes, or I want to go ahead and add the sub-label. Click add sub-label. Nest means under, so whatever I'm going to do here, if I do like bio, I'm going to have a bio 22 or 2022. Under the Oneshie folder, I hit create, and there it goes. It's now a sub-label under Oneshie. The way I did that was I just clicked the 3 dots under that and did add sub-label. I can also remove the label, edit it, or add a label color. That's always nice because that helps you see a little bit differently that color and what it is. You can add a custom color, etc. Either way, that is how you add labels. And then to actually label your emails, if I open one up here at the top, if I want to click that tag labels, I can go ahead and just check off what I want it to go under. I can select just one or more than one, unselect, hit apply, and then if I want it to move from my inbox to a certain label, I can drag and drop it, or I can click move to, click the one I want it to move to, and it goes away, and you will find it here under your label. The next thing I could do is I can snooze my email. So let's say I read it like I read this one, but I'm like, ooh, I want to come back to it later. Like I said, if I right click, I can always mark it as unread, and that might help. But if I really want to snooze it instead, what I can do is I can right click, hit snooze. I can also find it here up at the top. But if I right click and click snooze, it will ask me snooze until when. If I select a certain time and date of when I know I'll be able to address this email, I'll select that time and date, or I can select a generic one. I can always snooze it again if I need to. And then once I click it, it basically snoozes. It took it away from my inbox for the time being, and then it will pop up later at that time. Now, if I want to address it earlier than what I had planned, here on the left, I see the snoozed section, and I see it here under that label, under snooze, and I can still click and address it. It tells me what time I was supposed to address it, but things happen, and if I can get to it earlier, I might. It's here on the left after I snooze it. Right click, snooze. The next thing I can do is add to task. So let's say this email is referring to something that I'm like, ooh, I need to add that onto my to-do list, my task list. If I right click, add to task, my panel, my Google task will pop up on the right. It will show me the email. It will go ahead and attach it. I can add details, and then I can go ahead and add that onto my to-do list. So once that's done, it's there. I can do this to multiple emails, so add to task, as you can see, pop them over, add to task. And then what's wonderful is, like I said, once I'm done with it, I can mark it as complete. I'm done, and it's off my list. It will show up at the very bottom. Once the undo in the bottom right corner goes away, you'll see it as completed. And you can always bring it back by unchecking or throwing it in the trash. And it's nice because you're essentially making a to-do list out of your emails of things you need to refer back to. If you click on the three dots, you can always add a subtask, delete it, or you can create a new list of tasks. So if it's something like priority list, done. And then you want to get a different email, right click, add to task, and then I want to go ahead and make this a priority. I just click on those three dots for that task, make it priority. As you can see, it's going away, so you're probably wondering, well, where is it going? It's still under there, it's just nested under the top in priority list now. I click there, I click priority, and there it is, and I just check off. And then the last thing I get asked about is searching. Most people will go up to the top to the magnifying glass section and just type the name or email of the person they are looking for, or just what they think the title of the email is. However, sometimes that doesn't always work. So I want to remind everybody that right here, next to the X up here at the top, if you just move your eyes from the magnifying glass all the way to the X, and then right next to the X, the search options, that's an advanced search, and it allows you to basically break it down even further. So if you know the subject for sure, you can put a couple keywords for the subject. If you know it does not include this, you can include that. Has the words, that's another thing. It has the words of this. Who was it from? Who was it to? If you know it had an attachment in the email, you can click that off. If you know it's probably going to be in one of these sections because you label or whatever, you can break it down to search within labels. You can even search it to break it down into day. It was sent within the last 6 months, or it was sent within the last 2 weeks range. Once you're done with that, click search, and it will search through those emails. It just allows for you, again, to find things without having to scroll through a whole bunch of emails that might be indirectly related to the simple search. So advanced search is an awesome thing to do. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please go ahead and email me. I'm always happy to share any of my knowledge when it comes to Gmail. I also reference down below the Ditch That Textbook Gmail Survival Guide. It has a whole bunch of different tips that I personally use as well, as long as written instructions. If watching the video helped, but you need a little bit more like written instructions, share this with your students. I know they can do better when it comes to going ahead and organizing their Gmail emails or knowing what to do once they get it besides read them. And then, I hope you have a great, awesome week, weekend, day, however, whenever you're watching this, and reach out if you have any questions. Thanks. Bye.